Welcome again to Joe Stunner Boxing. A few days ago I did a video regarding an article by Thomas Hauser in Boxing News, and it talked about PEDs in boxing and talked about Eddie Hearn, Matchroom's position on PEDs, and that how what they say doesn't always coincide with how they behave. Let's put it that way. Well, there's been a slight development because Boxing News, who published Hauser's article, had this to say. This is a statement from Boxing News. It says, in response to a recent article written by Thomas Hauser and published by Boxing News, Matchroom Boxing has clarified that Conor Benn undertook appropriate VADA testing ahead of his recent comeback bout in Florida, complied with all applicable regulations, and that all legal procedures were followed. Further, Mr. Hauser's claim that Benn's scientific evidence, in inverted commas, had been rejected by UKAD was categorically false. The article should not have been published without Matchroom Boxing's position being included. Boxing News therefore apologises to Matchroom Boxing and Conor Benn for the error and any harm caused. So I think there's several things to say about this. First of all, and to me most importantly of all, it isn't mentioned whether this statement comes from a legal threat from Matchroom. I'm not saying it does. They're not saying it does. But I am saying that if there were veiled threats of legal action against the trade paper because of their article, or the article of Hauser, which was published by Boxing News, that smacks of trying to silence dissent. And we talked about this previously, or I talked about this in previous videos. Look, it is a categorical fact that Conor Benn has A, been cleared to fight due to a loophole, and B, has not, I repeat, has not proved himself innocent of any wrongdoing. Okay? Regarding the two failed tests in 2022, both for the same clomiphene, for the same banned substance. Okay. Now, if they're trying to silence dissent, it seems pretty obvious they must feel under the cosh regarding who controls the narrative. And there's no doubt that Eddie Hearn, with all his Essex boy patter and all the rest of it, wants to control the narrative. He's used to it because he's very good at that whole, piss and wind, spew as many words out as you can, be obscurantist regarding certain certain areas that are not so grey. Try to fill in the grey where necessary. All this stuff. But unfortunately, Eddie is no longer. It's no longer the 90s, and Eddie's no longer selling double glaze over the phone to unsuspecting pensioners and charging them the earth for it. Unfortunately, now he's dealing on an international stage, and people are entitled to make contradictory points, or they should be. And if, I say if, I'm not saying that this has been done, but if a threat was made to Boxing News, whose resources in terms of finances are not exactly, boundless, endless, they're not. It's a small trade paper. If legal threats were made, that is clearly, in my view, a way of trying to silence dissent. Now, as far as the article itself is concerned, what Boxing News have said in their statement, namely that they're clarifying Conor Benn undertook appropriate VADA testing for his recent bout in Florida, that has absolutely nothing to do with the failed two tests from 2022. Absolutely nothing to do with it whatsoever. He could be as clean as a whistle right now. Does not mean he was clean in 2022. Okay. Also, you would think if Matchroom were a little bit indignant about the article, that they would have tried to contradict some of the more scathing points made by Hauser in the article. Namely, the contradiction, some would say hypocrisy, who am I to judge, regarding what's been said, the attitude, the public attitude by Hearn and Matchroom towards PEDs, and the way in which the Conor Benn thing was handled, and the way that attitudes, for example, the Billy Joe Saunders, the statement Hearn made about Billy Joe Saunders failing a test when Saunders was under Warren's promotion, compare that to statements he's made regarding Benn, it's night and day. It is at the very least, 100% contradictory. Although Benn would try and deny this and he'd try and spin it and, again, fill in the grey areas and all sorts of crap that he comes out with. But look, I think this is Matchroom knowing that they've kind of effed up regarding the whole Conor Benn thing, that they haven't handled it well, that it's been a PR disaster, that it is still a PR disaster, and rightly so, and that people are aware that Benn has not been proven innocent, and that there is still a huge cloud hanging over Conor Benn and by proxy Matchroom Boxing and even DAZN. I mean, the DAZN executives can't be happy with this situation, surely not, you know. Anyway, just a few thoughts. Thought I'd make you aware of that little statement from Boxing News. If you've got any further thoughts, leave them below in the comments. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. And if you could hit the like button, that helps us out as well. And please spread the word about Joe Stunner Boxing. Tell all your mates, anyone who likes boxing or sport, tell them to hit the subscribe button. It helps us a great deal. And plenty of great boxing on this weekend. I'll do some more videos. Until then, bye for now.